There we go. Now we should be going. That's probably making all kinds of racket, isn't it? All right. Now I think I got the microphone plugged in. You guys let me know if you can hear me. Somebody let me know. Make sure I'm coming through on the mic. I'm afraid. Do you hear me? Okay, good. We're good. Okay, I forgot to plug it in to begin with. There, we're all good. Let me get disclaimers out of the way. We'll jump right into it. Again, if you're new here, this is the weekly live broadcast pretty much every Thursday evening at 8 o'clock Central Time. We do this. We go for about an hour. It's Ask Me Anything You Want It To. We'll talk about anything you want to talk about. I do my best to respond to all the chat that comes in during the live broadcast itself on the chat. And unless you're talking to each other, which is fine. You can talk to each other. I tend to skip over those. The only things I ask is be polite, keep it family friendly. Don't start cussing at us, calling us names, being hateful, or any of those kinds of things. Even if we have disagreements, we can have disagreements and have debates. Those are all good. Just there's no reason to be hateful or anything like that. So let's jump into it. We got Dawn here from South Central Illinois. First comment, but third like, she says. So thank you for that. Hey, Andy Rabbit, good to see you. Ed Got Bait, he's here. He says good evening to, he was a fourth like. Good, and good evening to you too. There's Verna, good to see you. Says we'll be in and out as I get ready for the live stream. Well, it's okay. You can stick around as long as you want. You can leave early. You can come late. It doesn't matter. We don't keep attendance. Blessed with Pets is here. Hello to you. Joy Guthrie from Western Oregon. Good to see you. Spartman from South Dakota. Good to see you too. Let's see. Andy Rabbit says, how's everybody doing? How's your wife doing, Chris? Tell her I said hello. I will tell her that. She's doing great. No issues. Everything's going great right now. And let's see. Spartman says, woot woot. I don't know exactly what that's in reference to, but I guess you're excited. I don't know. And then there's somebody telling me they can hear me now. Yeah, the ads. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with the ads lately, why they're just increasing and all of a sudden popping up in the middle of the videos and stuff. I don't know why. And there's Scrap 5000 says, what's up all? Greetings from New York City. Smash the like button. All right. And Billy Glass, good to see you. Oh my goodness, I scrolled and lost track of where I was. Give me a second here. I got to find where I was. There we go. Now I'm back on track. Don says, just got back, been talking to the hubby. There's RBL Jackson. Good to see you. Dragon Girl says, finally made it to a live stream. Hello, everyone. Well, thanks for joining us. First time here, I'm assuming. Well, we're glad to have you. Andy Rabbit says, with the ads at the beginning, you should give it a minute or so before going on with the live, Chris. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was happening, but yeah, I'll see what I can do. Ken says, I got my notification and rushed right over. Well, thanks for joining us, Ken. I appreciate that. Tyler says, hunt deer. I don't, okay. I do hunt deer, but I don't know why is that? I mean, it just seems kind of random. Hunt deer. Okay. I'll probably be going out hunting this weekend. We got a cold front coming through, so I'm going to try to hit probably Sunday afternoon, maybe Monday morning, because I got Mondays off work now. I'll try to get out probably Monday morning. And then all of a sudden, we're at the end. How many people we got in here? We got 32 people in here. There we go. Now we're getting there. Sparkman says, I run Brave Browser. It has a built-in ad blocker. Well, there you go. S.O. Swanson says, good evening with my little community. Greetings from the Mississippi Delta. Good to see you, S.O. Swanson. Thanks for joining. And I'll let everybody catch up to me here for a minute. I always think I probably should always have backup topics to discuss when chat is slow, but it usually isn't slow, so I never think about it. Child of God's here from Indiana. Good to see you. S.O. Swanson says, 17 likes, 33 watching. Let me get a few in. And then there's Chief, the BC Gaming /dispatcher says, yo. Cesar Reyes, good to see you too, man. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. And then we got Tony from Toronto. Hello to you. Blessed with pets. All right, here she says, I got 2 free BEW pedigree. What is that? Blue-eyed, blue. I don't know what BEW. I can't remember what that stands for. Pedigree show. Is it blue-eye white? It's blue-eyed. I don't know. Anyway, she's got 2 free BEW pedigree show quality Holland Lop does. Better type than any of my rabbits. Just over 6 months old. And 2 really nice hutches I'll use for chicks, and a ton of supplies all for free. Blue-eyed white. I was on the right track with that. So, hey, that's pretty nice. Got it all for free. Can't beat that. Free's always good. Chief says, says to Steve, I'm going to change the question and answers. I don't know what that's in reference to. Jacob Wolf says, I got my rabbits over the weekend. The other person fell through, so I got 4 rabbits instead of 3, 2 blue New Zealand does, and a buck and a doe that are New Zealand whites. I absolutely love the blues. Awesome. I kind of like the blues too. I don't have a blue New Zealand. I have a blue silver fox, but I do like the blue color of the silver fox. Andy Rabbit wants to know if I'm going to be breeding rabbits this fall. Yep, I'm going to get to it. I might do that this weekend, actually. It's cooling off. It's time. I said, in my last video, I said I probably could have done it, but I was being lazy. I'm still being kind of lazy. But yes, I need to get to it. I probably will get it done this weekend. Rabbit Homesteading says, I used to follow you religiously, but life, you still have quail. I do still have quail. Yeah, absolutely. And no problem. If you're watching the videos, I really appreciate it, but I understand you can't watch every single video all the time. It's fine. A lot of the topics that I'm covering nowadays are probably, repeated, or, a lot of the times it's repeats of things I've covered at some point in the past, because I have new subscribers and people that are new to the hobby, or not the hobby, but new to raising animals, rabbits or quail, one or the other. So it's always good to address some of the old topics, things that they may not have seen. But I do appreciate you watching my videos when you do watch them. And if you're not watching, there's no hard feelings. It's okay. But yeah, I still have quail. Verna says, Chris, Mooney wasn't pregnant, but I'm sure she is this time. The video will be coming this weekend. Well, awesome. Hopefully you have a good kindling. Ken says, why can't you find rabbit meat at the grocery store? Good question. I don't know. I don't know why there's not rabbit. Probably because there's just not, there's not, people don't think there's much of a market for it anyway. And there probably isn't enough of a market for it, honestly. A lot of people are kind of turned off by rabbit meat. They just don't know. It's just foreign to them. So it's a little bit unusual for them. And I just don't know that there would be much of a market to sell it enough of a market to warrant selling it there. You'd probably find it at some specialty stores. Maybe even, I would think maybe some, like specialty, like foreign stores. Like, I don't know if Asian stores would have it. I don't know. I don't think rabbits are really a big dinner in Asian, but maybe French. I don't know. Let's see. John says, hello from Michigan. Just had my second litter of Californias this afternoon. Well, congratulations on that. Hopefully they're all doing well. Miss Kitty from Utah, good to see you. RBL Jackson says, been working on a few food plots for deer hunting before the rains are due. We also have a cold front coming through, had rain and more coming, maybe even a frost freeze and a bit of snow rain mix. Yeah, we've got a freeze, well, possibly a freeze coming. I think Monday night, 29 degrees is the low going in, but I can't hunt that because I got to go back to work on Tuesday. But we've got pretty cool temperatures coming in this weekend. So it looks like, well, here, let me just look up our weather here real quick. Hang on just one second. Looks like, Saturday night. See, we've been in the 70s, getting down into like the high 60s at night, mid 60s. Friday, and we've got some rain coming Friday and Saturday, but it looks like Friday is going to be 70 degrees with a low of 44 overnight. And then Saturday, 52 degree high, 39 degrees overnight. Sunday, 41 degree high, 27 degrees overnight. and then Monday 45-degree high, 24 overnight. So I'm thinking, I got to work Saturday. I've got Sunday, Monday off. So I'm going to try to hunt probably Sunday evening and maybe even Monday morning. I've got a lot of season left. So my plan is I need to fill the freezer. Usually I only take one deer, but I think I'm going to try to get two this year. And I think I'm going to go ahead and take a doe. If I have a decent sized doe that comes by, while I'm out there, I'm going to go ahead and take a doe. And I've got the whole rest of the season, rifle season, and then bow season goes all the way through January after that. So I've got the whole rest of the season to hunt for a buck and see if I can get a buck. Where I hunt is private property. My cousin and I both hunted. It's about 40 acres. It's my uncle's property. And we don't want to take too many deer off of it, but there's enough deer out there that we could probably take two each. I just don't want to take multiple bucks. So if I shoot a buck, it'll be the only buck I shoot. But I may go ahead and take a doe, like I said, this weekend if one comes by. I did have one. I was out one other time. Well, I've been out twice so far this season when it was a little bit cooler. And I did have a doe come in, finally came within range. But at that point, it was just getting dark, and it was just a little too dark for me to feel comfortable. I mean, I guess it was still technically legal light, but it was a little too dark for me to feel comfortable trying to make the shot. I didn't feel like I could see well enough to pinpoint the shot. And I didn't want to wound a deer I'd have to track in the dark. So I didn't take it. And as far as bow season goes, crossbows are legal in Missouri. I'm no good with a regular bow. I don't own a good bow. I have an old one that was my dad's. It was handed down to me, but that's from like the 70s. So I don't know a real good modern compound bow. I haven't shot one enough to be good enough with it. I do have a crossbow though. So sorry, got distracted. That's what I will be hunting with. We'll see. Scrap 5000 says, Chris, my family's timeless Southern Italian farmer's sausage recipe was featured on Two Guys and a Cooler's YouTube channel. Celebrate Sausage Season Episode 4 or Season 4 Episode 8 if you'd like to check it out. Yeah, I've got to copy that, and let's see what I can do. Copy that. Give me just 1 second here. Let me check that one out for sure. That's episode 14. It may be hard to find. Okay, I'll check that out later, but I got it copied down. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that. I'm always looking for a good sausage recipe. I'm not real experienced with making sausage, so any help I can get with that is always good. S.O. Swanson says, typically the frozen food section, they aren't that good. Oh, so what, you can find rabbit in the frozen food section, but they're not that good? Is that what you're saying? Blessed with Pets says, I've got 5 rabbits I need to sell. Well, hit up Craigslist. That's the only thing I know. You can't sell animals on Facebook Marketplace, but hopefully you can get them sold. Rabbit Homesteading says, hey, Vay. Cool, you still, okay, wait. Oh, and cool, you still have quail, and there's a place near me I stopped that does sell rabbits or frog legs, crawdads sometimes, weird off things. Well, none of those things are weird to me. I like crawdads. Frog legs I like too. Frog legs are really good. But the problem, I wonder if they're imported from like China. That's where I see most of the frog legs I've seen. And I don't really care for them much when they're frozen. I like them fresh. But that's just me. Jacob Wolf says, do you personally wash your quail eggs? If so, do you just use water and rinse them? Or do you use something else to clean them? I don't. The only time I wash them is right before I use them. And I don't really wash them. I put them in water, float test them. That's about it, honestly. But my eggs are fairly clean. The birds lay their eggs in the nest box or in the sand box, and they come out really clean. There's nothing stuck to them, so it's not that bad. But excuse me. But so yeah, I don't wash them. Definitely don't wash them before you store them. It makes them, it'll wash the bloom off of them, and they won't last as long. And don't wash them before you incubate them either. You don't want to do that. Andy Rabbit says, I think there would be more of a market if people didn't ask such a high price on dressed out rabbit meat. Well, that's a possibility too. But I also think, I don't know how many people would actually buy rabbit meat. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I just know that whenever I talk about eating rabbit, most of the people I talk to about it, they've never eaten rabbit, never even thought about eating rabbit. They're not sure if they want to eat rabbit. Blessed with Pet says, what's a good breed of chicken for eggs and meat? I have 2 incubators practically brand new, and I want to order some purebred eggs. I'll eat the roos and raise the hens. I couldn't answer that one. I don't really know. I think American breasts, aren't they a dual purpose meat and egg producer? I think they may be a pretty good option for you. So that may be something to look into. Somebody else may be able to answer that a little bit better than I can, though. Bay says, I don't do chickens. Well, I do meat chickens usually in the spring, but yeah, not egg laying chickens. Rabbit Homestead, it says Sand Lake store or party store in Nottawa, Michigan sells the weird stuff. Interesting. That's a ways from me, so I probably won't be checking that one out. And then Blessed with Pet says they both hold about 40 eggs. Well, that's a pretty good size incubator. You should be able to get quite a decent amount of chickens going. Spider Eva says, hello, everyone. It's been a tough week. Yesterday, after 12 and a half years, I had to say goodbye to my fur baby. Glad to see you guys. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. It is always sad when you have to say goodbye. They never live long enough either. So you got 12 and a half years. That's a pretty good long, time. I don't know if, I'm assuming you're talking about a dog. I don't know if it's a dog, a cat, what exactly, but that's a fairly good amount of time you got. So feel lucky in that sense. But yeah, I totally understand. When I have to, say goodbye to Max, it's going to be a sad, sad time for sure. Andy Rabbit says, I like crawdads. I do too. I like them quite a bit. Ken wants to know if rabbit manure is safe for the garden. Yeah, absolutely. Rabbit manure is a cold manure. It's not like chicken manure or quail or, any of the other, like even cow manure. Most of those things need to be composted down because they're really high in nitrogen, and they tend to burn your plants if you try to put them on there too fresh without composting them. But rabbit manure is a cold manure. Alpaca is the same way. I think goat is too, where you can put it straight on your garden, on your potted plants, whatever. I can't remember the exact nitrogen, phosphorus, what is the other one? Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. There we go. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium breakout on them, but it's a really good fertilizer. You can put it straight on your garden, straight on your house plants. You don't have to compost it first, anything. It works great. It's considered by some to be the best fertilizer you can use. It is one of them. Rabbit Homesteading says the same thing. Rabbit is best for the garden. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of people saying the same thing. Steve says, hey, the biggest reason rabbit is not in stores is because of the regulations for human consumption. It drives the price up too high. You're probably right about that too. RBL Jackson says, good luck on your hunt. Our rifle season opens on the 5th of November. Like you, putting meat in the freezer is always nice for us going into winter. Time for deer chili in no time. Yeah, absolutely. And, I like the back straps. I cut them into little steaks, or some people call them chops, butterfly them. They're fantastic. I get a roast or two out of it as well. They'll probably have I don't have a walk-in cooler. I'm going to try to process I'm thinking about it. Probably going to try to process the deer myself this year, which I've never done. I've processed all kinds of things, but never processed a deer. But I figure, how hard can it be? It's just bigger than, a rabbit, for example, or a squirrel, or, all those other things I process. So it shouldn't be that hard. I should be able to do it. But I don't have like a big walk-in cooler to age the meat. So I'm going to have to age it in coolers, smaller coolers with ice. But that'll be okay. We can manage that. That's one of the reasons why I don't mind taking a doe early, get that processed myself. And then if I shoot a nice big buck, and I have to, I didn't do well with the processing, I know I can take it to the processor. Processor's getting expensive though. Last year I took to the processor was close to $200, and that's a lot. I mean, it's still cheaper than buying meat from the store, but it's a lot. Verna says, Chris, Lucy went too far yesterday. She's not allowed in the animal room anymore. Oh no. She get a hold of something? Yeah, Max is not good with small animals. My quail, he actually does better with than most. He'll pin them down, but I can usually get him to just leave him alone, get it away from him, and put him back in the cage. They're fine. But anything else, like a rabbit or whatever, it'd be dead. If it got out, it'd be dead. And the neighbor's chickens, one of them got in the yard the other day. He killed it. He's just not good with small animals like that. Hey, TM's here, says, hey, I might be late, but I made it. Well, you know the deal. We don't take attendance. It's all good. We're just glad you're here. Andy Rabbit says, I pour. I pour pour as in P-O-O-R. I'm not sure how that's, how do you actually, isn't it P-O-U-R, pour, like pour it out of a pitcher or something? But you say you pour the rabbit's poo on my garden in by the pounds. I'm not making fun of you, Andy Rabbit. I make worse mistakes than that. Don's saying to Jacob Wolf, I wash my eggs before I eat them. When I sell them unwashed. Yeah, that's, unless there's like feces stuck to it or something, there's no reason to wash it. Verna's saying Lucy ate a bird that got loose and did not do as I told her. We were outside when the bird got loose. Yep, I understand. That is a concern with my dog as well. Rabbit Homesteading says the rabbit manure is an awesome extra bonus for the manure. Yep. The Bedrock Boys saying random words. Hello to you. Good to see you. JJ Willow says, Verna, sorry to hear that. That's not good. But Buster, no, it's not good. But hey, dogs are going to be dogs. You know, sometimes they're going to do that. I'll trade it. I mean, I got to watch him around my animals. If I'm really keeping a close eye on him, I can get him to leave something alone. But it's tough. I mean, if he breaks and is after it before I catch him, it's over. There's nothing I can do. But if I can catch him before he breaks and goes after it, I can usually get him to leave it alone. Verna says, yeah, she refused to drop the bird, so she isn't allowed in the animal room at all anymore. Yeah, I don't blame you. Oh, there you are. You heard we were talking about you, didn't you? Come here. Say hi. They can't see you. Come on up here. He's being lazy. He doesn't want to. That's all right. Let's see. Child of God says, I wash mine before cooking water with just a touch of Dawn. Yeah, I don't even put soap on them. I just put them in, I float test them basically to make sure they're still fresh. That means putting them in a bowl, or I usually use my sink and just fill it up a little bit with water. And if they float, I throw them out. And if they don't, I use them, but I don't even wash them. I mean, I figure I'm cooking them. If there's any dirt, if there's dirt, it's on the shell, and I'm not eating the shell. I'm taking the egg out of the shell. And if there's any dirt any bacteria in there, I'm cooking it. So it's going to be fine. Did I miss a comment? Bedrock Boy is responding to Verna saying they're in a coop. She want to know if they're in an aviary or cages. Did I miss a comment from you? I may have. If I did, I'm sorry I missed that. I don't know if you asked a question and I didn't get it answered. Dawn says, Verna, I'm sorry. My dog is not allowed near my cages. He jumps on them. When he looks at them, I make him go in the house. He never learned, and that means you go in. Oh, he never learned. That means you go inside. Yeah. I don't have any problems with Max around the cages. He's fine, but if one gets out, that's when it's going to be a problem. Joe Sandy says, hey, everybody was having difficulties logging in. Oh, no, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, hey, I'm glad you made it, though. Good to see you. Bedrock Boy says, I know my rabbits like hay. Is that okay? Oh, okay. So you must have asked question. I'm not sure I missed the start of that conversation. I must have. I'm sorry, Bedrock Boy. I don't know what we're talking about exactly. It sounds like Verna's getting your questions answered, though. She says they don't really need straw, but if you use it as bedding, then it's all well. If you're going to use straw as bedding, I'm thinking, I don't know if we're talking about rabbits, we're talking about quail, but either way, The only thing about using straw as bedding, first of all, none of your animals need it. Rabbits don't need it. Your quail don't need it. Your rabbits got big fur coats on. They're going to be fine. If you're worried about weather in the wintertime, I'm assuming. Just make sure you get them out of the wind. Give them a place where they can get out of the wind. That's all they need. They're going to be okay. If you are going to use straw or something like that as bedding for either one of those animals, you're just going to have to make sure you clean it out pretty regularly because it's going to get nasty pretty quick. And it's also a good breeding ground for like ear mites and stuff like that. So it's probably not a great idea to really try to use it unless you plan on cleaning it out pretty regularly, like every couple of days or so. Ed says, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Yeah, you guys want to be subscribed. I'm still working on the giveaway for 100,000 subscribers. You're going to have to be a subscriber to be qualified for that. So you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Keep an eye out for that. Another week or two, maybe. I may be able to get that announced. Rabbit Homestead said, just heard some good things, if true, about these chickens being good for both meat and eggs, but anything dual purpose generally lack on both. Oh, about breast chickens. Okay, American breast. Yeah. I watched Living Traditions Homestead had a video out recently about their American breast chickens and why they were raising those instead of the Cornish cross. And part of it was because they were a dual purpose bird. But yeah, you're right. They're not perfect either. They're not going to grow at the same rate as like a Cornish cross. They take a lot longer to get to weight. But they do lay their own eggs and they can be a decent egg layer. So, they're kind of the best you can get as far as I understand, the best you can get for a dual purpose bird. Andy Rabbit says, I saw someone asking $50 on a dressed out rabbit with bone in. That's kind of expensive. Eatable meat after the bones are removed. Yeah, $50? Good grief. That's ridiculously high. I can't imagine they're getting that. If they are, I need to find out who they're selling it to because I'll sell dressed rabbits at $50 all day long. Heck, I'll sell undressed rabbits at $50. Blessed with Pets says, I know you can help me out here. What's a good breed of quail to order eggs? I'd like some bigger ones with colors that aren't just brown. Well, check my shire and find out. I really couldn't tell you the best bet on different colors. Do you want bigger quail? I raise jumbo farrow because I'm just in it for meat and eggs. I don't really care about all the different colors. So, and I like them to be feather sexable, that I can just look at them and tell the roosters from the hens. That's a little bit more convenient for me. So those are the ones I raise, but you can check with My Shire Farm. They've got you go to their website. They got different eggs you can order, and he's got a lot of videos on different kinds of birds. You can check that out, the different colors to see what they are. S.O. Swanson says Egyptian and Jumbo White are good options. Well, there you go. Verna says Jumbo Wild from My Shire Farm. Yeah, the problem with the Jumbo Wild is she wants colors. So the Jumbo Wild are Jumbo Farrow, Jumbo Meat Maker, whatever you want to call them. It's basically the same thing. They're just they're not colored, different colored birds. So you might want to check the Egyptians and the Jumbo Whites. S.O. Swanson's probably onto something there for the colored birds. Joe Sandy says, I got my first eggs today, building my Dale's Quail's hutch tomorrow and moving them in. I suppose that will stop them from laying for a couple of weeks. You'll probably get eggs for another day or two out of them because they've already got eggs in their system. But yeah, expect them to kind of shut down after that for a little while. They'll pick back up, though. It's not the end. Oh, and congratulations on your eggs. J.J. Willis says the same thing. TM says you need access to a meat saw. And Rabbit Homestead says you'll be fine with the deer. Yeah, I'm sure I will be. You don't need a meat saw necessarily to process a deer. You can do it without a meat saw for sure. Scrap 5000 says, Criff, there was an article in ARBA not long ago about how rabbit almost became the most popular meat in America, but chickens won because of their slightly better feed to meat conversion ratio. Well, that makes sense. RBL Jackson says, wow, glad I came in here tonight. Just had a revelation. I could take the quail poop out to the food plot area and let it cool down and till it in next spring before planting. You can. Yeah, absolutely. Jacob says, do you like tractors or equipment? We just got, wait. Jacob Wolf says, do you like tractors or equipment? We just got a 52 Ford 8N tractor a week and a half ago. Just over 2 weeks ago, I was able to score a 74 Sears SS16 garden tractor at a garage sale. Surprisingly interesting. Yeah, I don't know I don't have a use for a big tractor or anything like that because I live in town. So it's kind of limited what I can do here. I mean, I like them just fine, but I don't have any use for them. There's nothing I can do with them. I mean, I could put them to use. That's the one thing. We've tried to grow some food plots out where I hunt, but we don't have access to water them out there. We don't, I mean, we got some things to sprout, but you're relying on just nature to water it for you. It's tough. We have, drought years and all that kind of stuff. So we haven't had good luck with that. And I don't have big tractor equipment to plow a field like that. So we did it no plow. It worked okay, but it wasn't great. S.O. Swanson says, yeah, put the quail manure in the garden during winter, and by spring, you'll be good. I've done that before. It's worked out okay. I think rabbit manure is probably a little bit better, but yeah, it's worked. Andy Rabbit says, clean your bathtub good and add ice and water. And when the water needs to be changed, just drain and repeat. Talking about for the deer. Oh, for the deer. Yeah, I could do that, I suppose. I think it would do a little bit better in a cooler, though. Because, I don't want to a deer in the bathtub in the bathroom. I mean, it's not nearly insulated enough, I wouldn't think. JJ Willow says, and Andy Rabbit says, yeah, I think P-O-U-R might be right. Yeah, I think it is. I may be wrong, honestly. I don't know. JJ Willow says, yeah, but Verna's dog is highly trained service dog. Poor Lucy is in deep doo-doo. Yeah, indeed. So Swanson says hello to Max. Says, well, say hi anyway. I think he left. Yeah, he left. But that's okay. We'll say hi to him later. Verna says, first was stealing eggs, now killing my birds, so she can't be with them when I go to the bathroom now, as that is going through the animal room. Uh-oh. Well, yeah, I understand completely. Chief, the BC Gaming Dispatcher says, I need help with playlists like getting monetized. What? I don't know. Oh, are you talking about like a YouTube? You've got a YouTube channel. You need help with getting. I don't know that I can help you with that, honestly. When I started YouTube, there weren't any restrictions on like how you could just get monetized right from the beginning. So I didn't have to deal with that. But as far as getting subscribers, getting views and all those kinds of things, just be consistent. I don't know what kind of, I'm assuming maybe gaming videos is what you do because of your username. I don't know anything about gaming videos or how to make those a little bit more watchable. And there's a ton of gamers out there doing videos, and that would be hard to stand out in, I would think. So I don't know. I'm not your best source of information for that one, unfortunately. TM says, you can put your eggshells around tomatoes. It's good for blossom end rot, I think. Well, it is, and it's in a sense. There's a couple of reasons why you get blossom end rot on tomatoes. It technically is a lack of calcium, but that doesn't necessarily mean a lack of calcium in the soil. In fact, it's probably unlikely that you have a lack of calcium in your soil. It usually means that it's not the plant's not able to take the calcium up, which most of the time is inconsistent watering. So if you're not watering your tomatoes consistent, they really like to be watered fairly consistently. If they dry out too much, they're not able to take up the calcium. You end up with blossom end rot. There could be other things that cause it, but really, honestly, adding eggshells to your soil, it will add calcium, but it takes a very long time for an eggshell to break down and for that to work its way into the soil. It's not going to be an immediate thing. So again, if you're getting blossom end rot problems on tomatoes, it's usually a watering issue. That's usually the problem. You wouldn't really know for sure without having your soil tested. But, I mean, you can definitely add them. It's not going to hurt anything. And, the eggshells broken up around the base of it will kind of help with slugs and things probably. Andy Rabbit says, Vernie, you might want to look into a child gate that has a door that's open that opens for you. Oh, yeah, that's not a bad idea. JJ Willow says, woo, to Vase Place, I've had to retrain mine. Every once in a while, she gets full of herself at home, but when we're in public, things are extremely strict. Yeah, Max does pretty good in public. And, he's a little bit more relaxed at home. And, there are times where we have to do a little bit more training with him. All in all, he's a great dog. He's really pretty well trained and he responds pretty well to me. But, he just has those things that kind of, every once in a while are not good. Verna says, I can use one of those brooder tops. It's just high enough, but I don't want to tempt her. Yeah, my dog could jump over those. He can jump. Don says, I had to dispatch some quail yesterday in the kitchen, so I put the box across the doorway to keep the dog out. That works. And Katana says, I just bought my first rabbits for the homestead. How are we doing on time? Oh, we got plenty of time. We got like 20 minutes left. 23 minutes, actually. She says, I just bought my, I assume that's she. I don't know. You may be he. I don't know. Says, I just bought my first rabbits for the homestead. I got Tamuck. I have not actually raised Tamuck rabbits, but I looked for them for a long time trying to find some, and I couldn't find any. They sound like a great rabbit to me. Very heat tolerant. They're basically a New Zealand white. So I'm sure you got good stock there. Congratulations on your first rabbits. TM says $50 sounds like Thanksgiving rabbit. Yeah, no kidding. Verna says, Dawn, she will lay just out of the area when I'm dressing the quail. That way she can get treats, but if she doesn't listen, then she goes into her cage. Now I understand that. I scrolled too far again. Andy Rabbit says, I'm teaching my dog a new command. She won't go into the house anymore, and I'm not walking up to the door. So I'm trying to teach her the words, go in the house. Well, that should be, I would think, fairly easy. She won't go into the house anymore if I'm not walking up to the door. Okay. So if you haven't taught your dog this already, teach him place. That's a great command to teach your dog. My dog knows that pretty well. He's got a specific area he goes to, place. He goes and lays in that area. So you can look up how to teach your dog to go to its place or something like that. That might help you with teaching them to go in the house. You can just say place and send them in the house that way. Abba Love says, my quail are not laying with the exception of 2. They are now 14 weeks old. I did put a light out there and they're still eating 30% game bird feed. What do I need to do? It doesn't sound like you need to do anything. It sounds like you got everything right. You said you're only getting 2 birds laying. You're only getting a couple of eggs a day is my guess. I mean, there's no way to know for sure which 2 birds are laying and that there's only 2 birds laying. You may have birds that are laying just sporadically and you're just only getting 2 eggs a day. So it may be coming from multiple different birds. But it will take them a little while. It'll take them a couple of weeks once you put light on their hutch to get them to start laying. S.S. Swanson wants to know how long the light's been there. So that would be my question too. Vay says, Andy, I taught Lucy the command come in as she isn't allowed in the house when I first open the door until I tell her that. Yeah, we've taught Max wait. So he knows wait. Like if I open the door, I say wait. He just stops where he's at and waits till I tell him, yes, his release command, you can come inside or you can go through the door. That's a really good thing to teach your dog too. Oh no, another ad, huh? Sorry. Scrap 5000 says, Chris, the beauty of breasts is that they are the only breed of chickens in the world that has intramuscular marbled fat like a high quality beef steak. They cost 50 euros a kilo in France, their origin. I heard that that's something you can do with breast chickens. According to the Living Traditions Homestead video I saw on it, they were saying the only way you're going to get that intermuscular marbled fat is you have to feed them you have to soak their feet in milk after a certain point in time. And like, I don't, you'd have to look up the details on it, but they were showing them dressed out. They didn't do that. They didn't do the milk, soaking their feet in milk. And they didn't have intermuscular marbled fat or anything like that. But they said there was a way you could do that somehow. Like it had to do with soaking their food in milk. I don't know the details, but S.O. Swanson says 50 euros is $52.77. Wow, that's pretty high. TM says ryegrass in a food plot. That's about all I do. Yeah, I don't know if I even need it, honestly. I mean, we see deer, plenty of deer. What time is it? In fact, let me check real quick. I will check my let me check something here real quick. Sorry. See if I've got any more pictures of deer today. No, nothing today. Nothing by the camera today. And then Verna says, Chief says, I'm not a quail con type of guy. Sorry. Well, that's okay. You don't have to be. It's fine. Verna says, let's see, I tell Lucy cave, and that means go to her cage. Well, that works too, just as long as you have a command for that. Don says the hubby and his buddies put the deer in a big coolers and brought them into the kitchen for me to process for them. 3 deer, and I'd get 1/3 of each one. Well, there you go. Clayton says, I really enjoy your videos. My first time incubating quail, and they are hatching as we speak. Is it normal for them to just lay down and sleep? They get up and flop around every 10 minutes or so. Yeah, that's pretty normal. In fact, a lot of the times you're going to think they're dead. I mean, I see in the brooder box especially. You walk in, you're like, oh no, they're all dead, and then they jump up and start running around. I know, it's pretty normal. And he says, normally I just call her into the house, but with my dad here, we sit outside, and I'm ready to go in and try to send her in as I'm getting my things picked up, and she won't. And then it takes her a while to get to the door because she has trouble walking. Oh, I understand. JJ Willow says, same here at dawn. I don't know what you said, Dawn, but anyway, says, but those days are over. My hands are too messed up to butcher a deer. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And Verna's saying the same thing, that they'll often lay down and play dead when they sleep, the quail, that is. Don says, mine has his cage. I say bed, and he goes to bed, but he won't stay if I don't lock the door. Max is pretty good about if we send him to his place, he'll stay there. Unless there's like, he has a little bit of hard time, like if we have company over, like somebody's come to the door, he gets super excited, and he has a really hard time staying. But for the most part, he'll stay there until I tell him he can get up. Blessed with Pets says, I now apparently breed Nigerian dwarf goats, Holland lops, turkeys, Great Pyrenees dogs, hamsters, rats, and some fish. Well, you get your hands full, don't you? And Verna says, yeah, Dawn, that is a problem at times. When I give that command, she knows I'll lock her in. Let's see. Dawn's talking to JJ, says, I'd come home from work at night with 3 guys in the front yard and a deer hanging in the tree. They would send me to the corner to get them ice before I could get in the house. Oh, no. I'll take care of it myself. I'm not going to make my wife do it. Yeah, Verna says, if she wants to, Chris, Lucy could jump over child gates. Yeah, Max could too. He could jump over my fence in my backyard. He just doesn't do it. Rabbit in Homestead says, with rabbits, when did them had floppy ears, velveteen lop? With rabbits, when we did them, had floppy ears, velveteen lop. Interesting. JJ says, Dawn, sometimes guys are like children. No offense. It's all right. Sometimes they are. Sometimes we are, I should say. Yeah. In many ways, right? We all have our quirks. Rabbit Homesteading says, had people from other states coming to get them for $100, and we ate them too. so could convert whatever rabbit that everyone wanted to cash in to get steak or whatever. Win-win. Yeah, yeah, that's not a bad deal. Sell a few, especially if you got pedigree rabbits. You can sell a few here and there, help pay for your feed cost, help cover, whatever. That's a good deal. $100 though, that's a high price for a rabbit. Let's see. Rabbit Homesteading says check rabbit market and what others are wanted highly. S.O. Swanson's talking to JJ, says, watch your mouth. Haha. Guys are like children. True, but don't remind us. All right. Scrap 5000 says, Chris, we picked up an organically raised hog from a rabbit customer a little over a week ago. And oh my gosh, I could never go back to supermarket pork again. $7 a pound live weight, but worth every penny. Yeah, you're right. We went in on a pig, my cousin and I, a couple of years ago, and it wasn't good. It just didn't turn out good. I don't know what the deal was. I don't know if it was the processor or if it was the pig. I don't know. But I wouldn't mind finding one. Rabbit Homestead says, my last comments got messed up, so connect them all. Sorry. Yeah, I did the best I can with them. I understand. It's all good. Just Al says, have you changed over more to rabbits than quail? I started following you for all. No, I haven't changed from rabbits to quail. I just tend to focus more on, like, I breed my rabbits and focus more on the rabbits in the fall, the winter time, more on the quail in the summertime and the spring. I've been doing a lot more quail videos lately than rabbit. I haven't actually done a rabbit video in a little while. I need to get back into it. But no, I still do both. And then meat chickens in the spring too, so. Joe Sandy says, is there a DIY no waste feeder that holds more food than basic Tupperware with holes? I've seen one made of PVC. Anybody do that? Yeah, I've seen plenty of them where people put like PVC elbows in them and it's a taller container. You could definitely do something like that. They're not terribly complex. You should be able to figure it out. It's just basically a PVC elbow that bends in so it faces down the bottom of the container. That will keep all the feed that's at the top from pouring out the holes, basically. And then the quail just stick their heads in to get feed. So it keeps the feed down there at the bottom, basically, if that makes sense. Should be pretty easy. Just Al says, oh, wait. I followed you for all your quail videos. Okay, gotcha. Send too soon. No, I've been doing more quail videos. Okay, I'm sorry, Just Al. I got the rest of that. You started following me for all my quail videos. No, I haven't switched over to rabbits. I do both. I'm still doing a lot of quail videos. If there's specific things you want to see addressed in video, leave a comment on a video if you have one that you want to see. I haven't been good about responding to comments lately. I'm getting so many of them. It's hard for me to get in there and respond to them all. And I just kind of sometimes, most of the time, just don't respond to any because of that. Maybe not the right approach. But I do see the comments. So if there's something you want to see addressed in a video, you can leave a comment and I'll usually pick that up. I'm always looking for ideas for content anyway, because I've addressed all kinds. I mean, it's hard for me to come up with content all the time. S.O. Swanson says, I do have a PC. I do have a PVC. I do the PVC feeder. There we go. Just a giant U shape with 4 holes for feed, holds 2 days worth, can extend for a longer time. So you made the whole feeder out of PVC. It's probably like 2-inch or so PVC, I'm guessing. And you said a giant U shape that has holes cut in it for them to eat out of. Huh, interesting. LBL Jackson says, yeah, place command or kennel command. Yep, you're right. Yeah, that's what I use. Place is what we have. But yeah, you could use either one. Yeah. And then he uses kennel to get in the kennel, get in the truck, get in the house, etc. There you go. JJ Willow says, dogs are happiest when they have a job. It's good to train them to have good behavior. It is good to train them. And some dogs are happier when they have a job, for sure. Dogs in general, I mean, they need routine, they need consistency, all those kinds of things. They like that kind of stuff. And, you know, my dog, I mean, if you do it right, they should enjoy the training. My dog really enjoys the training. He has a good time. He likes to listen to me. I can take him to, you know, like the store, like Tractor Supply, for example, and tell him down, and he'll lay down. And then I can walk over to the register and pay for my stuff, and he'll just lay there and wait for me while people walk by him all the time. And that's a well-trained dog. That's great. It's great to have a dog that you can do that with. Andy Rabbit says, of her kennel, her word was hide, but we don't use the kennel anymore. Yeah, I don't use the kennel anymore either. He has free reign of the house. He knows, you know, go on if I want him to leave the room or something, but, you know, he pretty much has free reign. Scrap 5000 says, Chris, yes, the breastfeed should be soaked in milk for high fat, calorie content, and then the chicken's kept in a very small cage so they fatten up, and you'll get the fat marbling. Sounds interesting. I bet it is good. TM says, I heard that corn feeders for deer made out of PVC pipe. That should be pretty cheap. I have never made one, though. JJ says, Max sounds like an angel. Well, I don't know if I'd say angel, but he's a good dog. He's a really good dog. We don't have any problems. I mean, he's housebroke. He goes outside. He's about the best dog I've ever had. Blessed with Pets is going to go eat. Says, God bless you all. Going to go eat. Well, you have a good evening. Thanks for joining us. Andy says, my dog's a good girl. She knows hand language and snap commands. Yeah, we did start Max out with hand signals over the word commands, but I don't know if he even remembers them anymore. I'd have to retrain him on those. But he picks them up pretty quick, so. Clayton says, awesome. Thanks for the info. I really appreciate it, and keep up the awesome videos. Well, thank you. Andy Rabbit says, my dog has a command, no tail, to stop wagging her tail, aka slapping people with her tail. Yeah, I should probably teach Max that too, because his tail, he can be pretty brutal with it. S.O. Swanson says, I didn't know they could stop wagging their tails. I never even thought about that. Yeah, I should teach him that too. Andy Rabbit says it doesn't stop her from wagging her butt, though. TM says, you can make a video every once in a while. Just say hi and let us know you're still out there. Yeah, I try to get, I'm here lately, it's been like once every 2 weeks, but I try to get one out at least once a week. But yeah, I'll try to do better with it. Karen Box says, a Falcony Muse is wondering if I can provide 25 6-week-old quail a week to feed their birds, send that like a big send like a big operation. I'd have 150 growing out at a time. Yikes. Right now, we just raise a few. Yeah, that does sound like a lot of birds. 25 6-week quail a week. Yeah, that does sound like a lot. That's quite a bit to keep up with. But, you know, I don't know how much they're willing to pay for them. It may be worth it. Joe Sandry says, Chris, do you still... Wait, here's another thought too, though, Karen. Do they have to be alive when you send them, or do they want them pre-dispatched and frozen? Because you could freeze a whole bunch of them at one time and then just, you know, supply them as you go. Anyway, think about that for a little while. That may be something to do. Joe Sandry says, Chris, do you still like the heated quail water with the nipples for the wintertime? I ordered one. If you still like it. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it worked great. It works great for me. I did not have it freeze up one time. It kept the birds watered all winter long. You just got to put it out of the wind. And it did a great job. That's what I plan on using this winter again. Andy says, that's a lot of hatching. I wouldn't mind that. I'm a hatchaholic. That is a lot of hatching. That's a lot of brooding. The hatching is not the problem. It's the brooding. That becomes difficult, especially in the wintertime. But maybe it's just me. I don't know. All right. We got 5 minutes left. I thought we were closer than that. No, 5 minutes. Good. We got 5 minutes left. No comments coming in, though. So Verna, I could not do it in my small setup. There's limitations. I mean, it would be tough to do that many birds. I hatched out like 90, for my quail con hatch. And honestly, that's a lot of birds for me to keep up with at one time. I really should have had another hutch, but I ended up had somebody that I used to work with contact me and wanted to get into quail. So they ended up coming and buying a whole bunch of them, helped me out quite a bit. JJ said I could make up a comment. LOL. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you have to do that. Do I have anything cool to show you guys for metal detecting? I don't know if I showed this. I did metal detecting a while back. I got this ring. It rang up like a quarter. I don't know if I told you about this. Rang up like a quarter when I dug it out of the ground. I thought, what in the world? I cleaned it up a little bit. It's made out of a quarter. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that very well. Probably not enough light on it, but it's made from a quarter. Kind of interesting. So I got that. Found another silver ring. A couple of them lately. Silver ring there. Another silver ring. That's probably not showing up on camera. I can't get it to focus. Anyway, 3 silver rings I found not too long ago. And then just a bunch of junk other than that. Jacob says, do you have any more recipe cooking videos planned? Yeah, I've got a rabbit thawing right now. I probably will try to get a cooking video for that done. Linda says, metal detecting sounds fun. Well, it can be fun. I mean, you dig a whole lot more trash than you do treasure, and a lot of modern coins. So, as long as you don't look at it as like trying to make a living off of it, like trying to make a profit, it's fun. It's kind of interesting. You never know what you're going to dig out. I've got a couple of cool things. I find silver rings fairly regularly nowadays. It seems like once out of every couple of times I go out, but still there's a whole lot more trash than treasure. Andy says, I hatched out 82 from QuailCon hatch. Nice. Joe Sandy says, I got blight this summer in my tomatoes. I'm afraid it will carry over next summer. I've read a lot of theories. Yeah, I've had some blight issues too. If you can address it quick enough, you can usually just pinch off the branches that have the blight and kind of address it that way. There's a lot of theories about it. Overhead watering causes, and honestly, I don't know if any of that makes a difference. I am going to be rotating I didn't rotate last year. I grew tomatoes in the exact same spot I grew them in. Actually, I've been doing that for several years. So I'm going to be rotating the crops around a little bit, grow my tomatoes on the other side of the garden and move that around, see if that helps a little. I didn't have a great gardening season. Karen says they'd prefer them alive because they raise peregrine falcons and they often release back into the wild. Oh, okay. S.O. Swanson says, metal detecting, only thing I found was old cans. Yeah, you find lots of those. You kind of learn after a while, though. Like, I don't know what kind of metal detector you have, but on mine, it will, I have 2 of them. I have an old one I've had for a very long time, and then I got a new one. And the newer one's a little bit better. It tells me a number, like it reads a number out based on what I'm hitting. And I can usually tell if it's going to be like the cans fall in a certain range, tin cans, and by the size of the target, like when I'm swinging over it, where it's hitting, where it's not hitting. If it's bigger than a coin, I can usually tell. So I know that that's probably a can, but you still don't know for sure until you dig it up. So, you're kind of stuck digging it up to find out. Linda says, I was making strawberry jam listening in the background. Oh, strawberry jam's pretty good. JJ says, add calcium bone meal to your garden. Yeah, that's not a terrible idea either. Verna says, plant the tomatoes in your new area. Planting in the same spot will cause blight. Well, not necessarily will. It can, lead to that. I mean, it's a fungal thing. So, yeah, it could, but it not necessarily will cause blight. Andy says, where did you go to find them? It's at a local park. We have a couple of parks here they allow us to metal detect in. You have to have a permit. It's free. So I go down to the Parks Department and get a permit. And then there's like a handful of parks that I can metal detect in. There are other people that metal detect, and most of them hit, like there's specific parks that most of them hit the bigger ones. So I kind of hit the smaller ones where nobody really goes. And that's where I find most of my stuff. Joe Sandy says, I'm almost afraid to plant them next summer. I never had that before. It devastated the plants, cut my season way short. I've had those problems before too. Like I said, if you can address blight quick, like once you notice it's happening, pinch off the diseased limbs, and if you can address it quick enough, you can usually get that to kind of stop. Linda says, I bet metal detecting on the beach would be fun. It could be. You said 2-minute warning. Yeah, we're actually past time now. Oh my goodness, we got a whole bunch of them in here. So yeah, I got to wrap this one up. Blessed with Pets wants to know if I ever sell silver fox. Yeah, I do. I sell a few of them. I offer them up for sale whenever I have breed and have a litter. So I do sell them from time to time, but they got to be local. So anyway, JJ Willis says I have found one of every pop top that has ever been made in all of his. Yeah, I find several pop tops. G Michael wants to know if I'm in my garden with compost every year. Yes, absolutely. No, I have overwintered peppers. I did them in a container, brought them in. It was all right. It worked, but I don't know that it's worth it. Abba Love says, question, do quail still breed throughout the winter? If you keep a light on them, they will breed, yes. If your hens are still laying eggs, the roosters will still be crowing. They'll still be breeding. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. Always appreciate that. Always good to spend an hour hanging out with everybody. We'll see you guys again next Thursday evening. I don't see any reason why I shouldn't be here next Thursday. I'll try to get a video out for you this weekend, about probably Monday or Tuesday posted. And like I said, always leave comments for me. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see in videos, because I'm always looking for content. So thank you guys for joining. We'll see you guys next week. Take care. And as always, God bless.